Hello, and welcome to another episode of Arms Ranked. Today I was able to reach rank 17, so I'm very happy about that. These were my most recent 3 matches. Ding Dong was rank 15, Crest Boy was rank 20, and CG Gamer was rank 18. Let's start with this one. This match went pretty well for me. I didn't have too much trouble with this player. But, there were a couple good things. For starters, if you face me on Spring Stadium, you should know that I'm always gonna do a grab since we're close enough to each other that it's kinda hard to react to it. Anyway, so we're sort of just getting into a rhythm of like punch, 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 but our punches keep canceling out or dodging, you know. I think this game is a lot about rhythms, and since this is like the first fighting game I'm actually good at, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of fighting games were just about getting into the right rhythm. But the rhythm of arms, the player that wins is the one that can change the rhythm to their favor. So now that we both have rush, we were both playing a bit more defensively. So got kind of lucky there. I think they used their rush a bit too early since Fist was still able to bop them. So I get a grab there, and then do the, Ibuki. I love doing that. I try and do it anytime I'm on Spring Stadium, but I don't want to try too hard, And then I think they were just getting a little desperate for damage here. I was already out of the way of that Ram, and they had landed, so the landing lag got them over, screwed them over. Anyway, so that was round 1. On to round 2. So they switched to double Ram. Interesting pick. Personally, I think these two combos are less likely to cancel each other out. But personally, I think that glove arms generally win this sort of trade, since, hang on, let me rewind a bit. So you can see earlier, if they're both wide, it's super easy to just punch in between them, and then you're just vulnerable. So, another thing you might have noticed is I'm using the nade. So for my set, I've got the nade, the boomerang, and the parasol. And the reason that I do this is, I wanted a glove arm for their speed. Hang on, let me stop this, I'll explain that in a minute. I wanted the parasol to counter light arms, since most glove arms aren't really that good at doing it, except for the buff. And then I wanted the boomerang for the sake of having a curving arm. I didn't want the buff, however, because it's not that great against Master Mummy, who consistently gives me trouble. So I switched over to the nade, who may also not be that great against him, but at least it does more damage with the explosion and everything. And the nade's also a good anti-springman arm, since it explodes. Anyway, the boomerang, just wanted some wind instead of ice. It does a bit more damage, it's faster. And the parasol, also, it's really just for countering the light arms. I don't think I'd use it that much, except for, against really jumpy characters, since it's pretty wide, so it's also good at hitting jumpy characters, except Twintel, because she can slow it down. So anyway, back to this match. I just sort of saw her floating there, so I just sort of stood there, because I was expecting there to be an attack. And even if there wasn't, I could still punish the landing lag with the rush. So this was just double good for me, because she was vulnerable and had landing lag. Anyway, so they rush here. I probably could have dodged this if I had timed the dodging right, but at least I took 250 instead of 300 damage or something. Yeah, and another thing about the nades is you have full control over them, which is very nice. And it works especially well with motion control, since you can fine-tune each arm individually. Anyway, so at the very end, it looks like the landing lag, once again, ended up killing her. It's probably the best way to beat Twintels is to abuse their landing lag if they jump a lot. If they don't, can't help you there. Twintel is still a character I struggle against a lot. Anyway, here's Crest Boy using Springtron, who personally I think at this point is one of the best characters, if not the best character in the game. And I still think this player was good. Like, I don't think they won just because of the character. They probably still would have crushed me no matter who they were using. Like, see, they get a grab there. That a lot of rank 20s are able to do stuff like that. So I'm trying to get him out of my face. Managed to hit him with a grenade. But he punishes my landing lag. Punishes my dashing. I thought I would have escaped that, but unfortunately I did not. Glove arm is just too fast. I'm just throwing out punches in hopes that it'll cancel his out, because, you know, I don't know how they do it, but a lot of rank 20 players, they just seem to throw out a ton of punches and every single one of them hits me. But yeah, that's basically it. Not much to see there besides a ton of punishing my vulnerabilities. And then, basically same thing happens this round. They start with one of those things, which I think they also should have a bit more end lag. I don't know. I could have just maybe not figured out the proper timing yet, since, I don't know. It just seems like by the time he's landed, your grab won't be close enough to actually punish him. So I do predict a rush right then, and I'm lucky enough to get the shield. And that was also a pretty lucky rush. Like, it kind of looked like my arms are went weird there. If I'd rushed a fraction of a second earlier, it probably wouldn't have worked out for me. But that was about the best thing in my, or the best thing I did this round. Because otherwise, it's just getting hit by the cooler ring and then by the toaster, which might actually be a reason to switch back to the cooler ring in the future. Also punished that grab there. Wasn't really expecting it, but got kind of a lucky read. And I have no idea how those two things canceled each other out. Probably just lag or something, or maybe weird hitboxes. But yeah, another sort of, it was more of a lucky read that time, but still lucky enough. And here, this is so frustrating whenever you're just out of range, since I probably could have taken this round if I hit him with it. Like, if I got lucky enough. So he keeps shielding, but I think he got a bit of a lucky read there with dodging away from that grab. Who knows, maybe he was intentionally trying to get me to grab. Then he bops me in the head with his cooler ring and takes the round. Luckily though, since he was rank 20, it takes like a pixel off of my rank meter, so it's pretty minuscule. Anyway, lastly against CG Gamer, who is rank 18. He played Ninjara, or who knows, it could have been a she, who knows. But I'm gonna say he, since Ninjara is male. So I used Parasol since Ninjara's like jumping, and I noticed he had the popper in his set, which he used. So, spoiler alert, these rounds are really close. So, I think if I were playing any other character, I would have gotten annihilated, because I used so much super armor this round. Like, right there. And here comes that classic newbie-looking jump grab. This guy was not a noob, but, you know, kind of funny whenever you see that from someone who's not rank 2 or something. So we get a bunch of hits on him right there. So I think what I could have done better is use the Parasol whenever he uses popper more often. What I was trying to do, like, I was hoping that he would use his rush, because my rush would basically destroy his. So yeah, there's another thing about the rhythm I was talking about. We were in this sort of doing a little dance here, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I was able to break it up, and when I broke it, there's a little bit of time. Yeah. So it looked like he was gonna dodge it, but it probably would have been better if he just shielded. I don't know. I guess Ninjara would teleport away, but I read the rush in a second here. And I get my shield broken, but it doesn't do enough damage to KO me, so is super close, and this is the best part of the round. Like, what annoys me is how this little thing here tends to knock away bigger arms, like the Parasol and the Megaton, but it worked in my favor because it knocked it upward, and it hit him as he jumped, so that was amazing. Anyway, let's go to round 2 now. I switched to double nade since even though he's got the light arm equipped, the Parasol doesn't really seem to have been doing so good. So what I'm trying to do is position the nades where I think he's going to go, but he's not actually dodging that much unless they're straight. So I noticed he was shielding a lot, which is why I grabbed. Yeah, and again with the nades. So I was expecting a rush there too, which my rush probably actually wouldn't have canceled out his. But I ended up rushing his grab. And I thought, like right here, I thought maybe I could have punched through it, but I should have just shielded. That would have worked out way better for me. But anyway, again with the super armor sort of saving me there. So I'm pretty desperate for damage, so I just start throwing out punches in hopes that some of them hit. And there's one hit. And there's the other hit. Right there. So, good game to all 3 of these players, and glad I got to rank 17. One more thing is, I've got this news badge equipped, and the reason for that is I didn't want to have a badge that told anyone what character arm types I was using, so I decided to just take a neutral badge, since I didn't really like that many of the other neutral designs. They kind of look silly. Like this one, kind of ugly looking. All of them are kind of ugly looking, honestly. So, just the news. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a nice day.